All praise to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rakah Akwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone of Yasha Allah who rule well. Peace and blessings to the faithful elect of Yasha Allah. Shalom wa baraki ma'aman v'achiyar. All right. It's your brother Sharayat Nawasah coming back. And before I get going, I just want to say this lesson is only out to you so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, so-called Native American Indians, are also called because you're actually the Israelites. I want to say Tawada Abba, Wa Abba Nawa, Wa Alahaya Nawa, which is thank you, Father. Thank you, our Father. Wa our power. For giving me the Rakha Akwadash to be able to come back with another lesson, or hopefully something that can be edification, ammunition, reproof, definitive preaching the gospel, exhortation, or prophecy. All right. Now, getting into it, this is actually the lesson I was supposed to do the other night, but ended up going into something else. I might end up retitling that lesson, but this is actually what I was going to, at that moment, consider this to be a volume, a series. Latinos prove their Jacob. Latinos prove their Jacob. Now, this is actually how the lesson was actually by the Spirit set up to be, but, by the Spirit, man's going to the Lord. He took me somewhere else when I first was going into this. Now, like I said, this could be part 1, part 2, volume 1, volume 2, or whatever, but this is definitely going to prove it by the time it's over with. All right. Now let's go ahead and get into it. So you can see right here we have a so-called Latino on the screen. You know what I'm saying? She could be from one of the 12, the Northern Kingdom, any one of the Northern Kingdom tribes, which is anybody besides Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. All right. Salakia. All right. And, these are definitely the same people as you so-called Negroes, you so-called Native American Indians as well. All right. And she could be a Native Indian as well, but more than likely she's a so-called Latino. You can see the language, Policia, Jake over there selling out, because these are Jakes. And these people do derive from Jacob, and we're going to prove it. If you can't tell already by the Spirit, you can tell with her attire, her head covering, and etc. Without any further ado, let's double the screen real quick. And this is going to be another. This is kind of a variation of something I already got going, which is Salaki. I don't know why this won't. All right, there we go. And we're gonna go to Judges. I'm gonna do less talking on this because I gotta do it live. Let me see. Judges chapter 5, verse 28. And it reads, "The mother of Sisera looked out at a window and cried through the lattice, 'Why is his chariot so long in coming? Why tarry the wheels of his chariot?' Her wise ladies answered her." Now, this is an account when during Judges, when the Most High was raising up judges over Israel, before the Southern Kingdom and the Northern Kingdom became the Southern Kingdom and the Northern Kingdom, and this was prior to that. This is when we were just Israel, all the children of Israel, all together. And this is before Saul and etc. Right, King Saul, before he was even appointed a king. Now, at this point in the history, this is when Deborah and Barak were raised up, and they were leading Israel. You know, father was using a woman, Deborah. But anyway, this is when Sisera, Sisera was killed. You know, by real valiant women of our nation. You know, this is spiritual with the the image right next to us. You know, our people was not scared to stand up. The women were not scared to stand up, and Salakia, they were not scared. They were not scared to stand up and stand for something. You know, in the face of anything. You know, and ultimately one of the women she ended up putting one of the Israelite women ended up putting them to death. You know, but let's go ahead and get to the point. So this is his mother, not knowing she was looking for him, not knowing that he had been put to death. So let me read it again. Judges 5:28. The mother of Sisera looked out a window and cried through the lattice, "Why is his chariot so long in coming? Why tarry the wheels of his chariot?" Wondering where he was at. Her wise ladies answered her, "Yeah." She returned answer to herself, "Have they not sped? Have they not divided the prey?" Because these people, I forget what people this was. I think this was the Midianites. These were Ishmaelites who were coming down on Israel. They were coming down on us pretty hard and afflicting us. And this guy, he was leading them, and he actually thought he was gonna come, basically subdue us. And he got delivered into our hands. The Father delivered him into our hands. You know, being led by Barak and the help of Deborah, right? It says, "Have they not spared?" Verse 30, "Have they not spared? Have they not divided the prey to every man a damsel or two to Sisera?" Let me read this again because it's the point. Verse 30, "Have they not spared? Have they not divided the prey?" So she thought he was going to go put that work in, come back, you know what I'm saying, with spoil of, us Israelites and etc. And this is when your northern kingdom was together. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, which is who this is prompted to, but all Israel, and Native American Indians. We were all together in Israel at this point. So the mother of one of the heathens who was coming to afflict you all, thought that he was going to come up and divide our spoil and everything. Let's find out what one of those spoils would be, what she was thinking, what she had in mind. So Judges 5:30, "Have they not spared? Have they not divided the prey to every man a damsel or two?" Like took out women, took out, everything is spoiled. You know what I'm saying? To Sisera, a prey of diverse colors. So a prey of diverse colors of needlework. What is she wearing? A diverse colors of needlework on both sides, meet for the necks of them that take the spoil. So there you go. So because back then, our people were in an embroidery. You know what I'm saying? In the ancient time, and this is all you see on these so-called Latino people: embroidery, needlework, diverse colors of needlework. You know what I'm saying? Look at that. You can't make this up. So Latinos prove just off of this, they sound a lot like ancient Israelites. That's a spoil that she thought he was going to come back with, because obviously Jake was flossy back then. You know what I'm saying? We was a salt. We always had salt. Look at this. This is fine needlework of diverse colors. These people have a real ancient, so-called Latinos have a real look at this, man. This is salt. Who has salt like this? Look at these beautiful colors and how they're arrayed. All right. Now, really quick, we're gonna go into it right here. These are our people. These are Jakes. Where do they come from with this ancient style of dress? Where do they come from with this? Now let me pull it up on here. So that's just one scripture cutting a lot of unfaithful Israelites, diverse colors. So that's dyed stuff. The word right there is tazabai. Tazabai. Colored cloth. Dyed stuff. Something dyed. Colored cloth. Meaning to dip in fluid. Our people was heavy in these things. You know what I'm saying? It says coloring fluid. They dye diverse colors. So that's really what it's talking about, you know. And then we're gonna get that needlework. What does that say? That says rakwama, variegated stuff, like variety, embroidered, variegation of color, specifically embroidery, broidered work, diverse colors, raiment. That's talking about clothing, raiment of needlework on both sides. Look at this, man. So this is a cut, man. This is a heavy cut, and we're going to go into it. We're going to go into it, man. Latinos prove. So you got the phylacteries around. I mean, we're going to get into all that. But look, this is embroidery. A palette of colors. Diverse colors. Needlework. Dipped. You cannot make this up. You cannot make this up. Real ancient style of dress. And Jake still dressed like this. Are women you with your hair wraps, and Jake like wearing, you know, embroidered stuff and don't even realize that's built in their spirit, ancient attire. These are the Israelites, man. The embroidered work is crazy. It's crazy. Straight salt. Embroidery, man. Look at that. Heavy with the embroidery needlework, man. The needlework is crazy. You keep going, man. Look at the details, man. Old lady Jakes, man. These are Shemitic people. Where do these people come from? Well, you judge it by the spirit. And just by telling by the spirit, hell, these people look a lot like this, look alike like the Israelites, man. Look at that. All Negro what? Some of these people on here darker with bigger noses than you. Some of you so-called Negroes, man. Darker skin and more fuller noses and features than you. So what makes them, what is this Negro thing, man? We looking at the scriptures, and it said the Israelites were known for having diverse colors of the heat. The heathens knew this. If they came to spoil us, this was one thing they made sure they wanted to take from us: our needlework, our embroidery work, because we was heavy with it. Diverse colors. Everybody over east dressed like us. Everybody doing to dress like Jake. Look at this, man. The color game is crazy, man. These not Israelites. They don't like heathens to me, man. Heathens don't got swag like this. They don't got salt like this, man. You know? I said we could go all day, man. These are all so-called Latino people, man. Heavy with it. The garments is crazy, man. Where do they get this from? How do they, how? They're the Israelites, man. Discontinued from their heritage. But they came over here with a lot of the customs still. They brung Judah, the Jews over here, ass naked. So you didn't know what the hell we was wearing. But guess what? The Father allowed the Northern Kingdom to come over here to show and give an idea. Because this stuff is beautiful, man. To give an idea. It's like a royal people. To give you an idea of how his people, how we were dressing. You know, they kept a lot of the customs. being able to come over here by their liberty. The Father set them up. He allowed them to come over here because they were the ones who went into captivity first, due to the Assyrian captivity and that war, because they went off first. They were the worst. So yeah, man. That needlework, the word for needlework is rakwama. It's embroidery, man. It's talking about embroidery. And then the word for dyed, the diverse colors is tazabai. And it means dyed stuff, something dyed, colored cloth. So that's a cut right there. All right. Now, going back into this, we're going to go ahead and go to the next scripture. Lord willing, this is edifying, man. We're going to go to Exodus. Because I really just want to run through these, man. These people are the salt of the earth. You're looking at salt. No. Oh, Salaki. Exodus 28. And this is something I've been wanting to bring out for a minute. I've been had this put together by the Spirit, and the Father just, I guess, finally allowed for it to come out. All right. Judges, Slakia, Exodus 28 and 39. And it reads, and thou, who is he talking to? He talking to Moses about dealing with Israelites. Right? Let me get 38. And it shall be upon Aaron's forehead that Aaron or Aharon might bear the iniquity of the holy things which the children of Israel shall hallow in all their holy gifts. And it shall always be upon his forehead that they may be accepted before Yahweh. And thou shalt embroider the coat of fine linen, and thou shalt make the mitre. So right there are people, the Israelites. That's an Israelite custom, embroidery, man. Cut again. Embroidery. Needlework. Do we got to pull up the word again? Let's get it again, man. Needlework. Rakwama. Embroider. Rakwama. Right here you got Tazabai. Pull it up on here. Exodus. Let's make sure it's the same word. Exodus 28 and 39. And thou shalt embroider the coat of fine linen. And that says, let's get even deeper. This one right here is Shabbat. Shabbat. What is that? Shabbat Salakia Akim. Let's see. It says to weave in checkered or plated work or pattern, meaning probable, to weave, plate, inwoven, set. Inwoven. What is that? What is that? To weave in. Or pattern. That's a straight pattern, man. To interweave. Strong's definition. To interweave colored threads in squares. To enchase gems and gold. Embroider. Set. Hey, man. A lot of you carnal jakes. Hey, man, this is not to cut. This is to defend, and go into this truth, man. Because you got a lot of jakes out here talking about Latinos ain't jakes. They not Israelites, man. They go patterns, man. These people, for some reason, these people they have the mastery of the same craft that the ancient Israelites had, right? These are garments that were ordained for the holy priests of Israel to wear. So if this is the holy priest, this is royal wear. Where do these people come from with this? How where did this craft and this become a custom of theirs? You know? How? How, man? How? You know? Interwoven. See that? It says to weave in. To interweave. Colored threads and squares. Hey, man, you can't make this up, man. You cannot make this up. Even if I wanted to. Salaki. But I don't want to because I ain't got to. You know? It ain't nothing you can do or say about it, man. It is what it is. Who are these people, man? Oh, man. Let me read it. Exodus 28:39. And thou shalt embroider the coat of fine linen, and thou shalt make the mitre of fine linen, and thou shalt make the girdle of needlework. Oh, let's get another thing. So ancient Israelites wore girdles, right? What's that around this man's waist? What's that of needlework? Where is it? Where? Explain this, man. Because this is Jake, man. You're looking at the ancient Israelites in modern times, man. They were able to hold on to customs you wouldn't know anything about. Judah. Even though they even got forms. That's you got forms of how she wrapped it, mitre style. The head wrap. Hell, even better. That's mitre style. Explain this, man. Explain this. Somebody gotta explain this to me. You want to explain it? All right, let's move on. Let's go to Exodus 35 and 35. So Latinos prove they're Jacob, man. They're not finna come on earth doing, these people can't come on earth doing something they ain't never did. Right? If they're just so-called not Israelites, how they doing Israelite stuff in a very natural way? It don't seem like they're copying. They seem like they're being who they are. Right? You can see when the heathens cleave and copy us and mimic us, or ain't no coincidences, Exodus 35 and 35. That them had he filled with wisdom of heart. Now, her word for heart right there is lob, right? And it's talking about your mind, understanding, right? Knowledge, right? Because that's all dealing with your mind, thinking, reflection, memory. Ooh, it's a cut. Them had he filled with wisdom of heart to work all manner of work of the engraver and of the cunning workman and of the embroiderer, in blue and purple and scarlet and in fine linen, and of the weaver, even of them that do any work, and of those that devise cunning work. It says, them hath he filled. Who's the he? It's talking about the Most High. Who's the them? They're just talking about Israelites. See? Verse 30, and Moses said unto the children of Israel, see, Yahweh hath called by name Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah. And he hath filled him with the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua and wisdom and in understanding, in wisdom and understanding and in knowledge in all manner of workmanship, and to devise curious works, to work in gold and in silver and in brass. You see that? And it says, and he had put in his heart that he may teach both he and Aholiab, the son of Ahisamach of the tribe of Dan. Them had he filled with and that's a northern kingdom tribe, a northern kingdom tribe. Them had he filled with wisdom of heart, of mind, of lob, their knowledge, their understanding. You know what I'm saying? To work all manner of work of the engraver and of the cunning workman and of the embroiderer, and in blue and in purple and in scarlet and fine linen. That's all you see. The Most High's favorite colors: purple, the material, the fabrics, blue, scarlet. Hey man, you can't make this up, man. You can't wing this one. They even have it in combination, man. She got all the colors. She got blue on, a shade of scarlet with purple on the neck. Explain that. Explain it. Explain it, man. I dare you. You can't. Them how he felt. You don't think it was women helping work on these garments? You see that? Moving on. Exodus 38 and 23. So we just gonna run through these, man. These people prove that they're Jacob, man. You show me a heathen that do this, that pull us off on this this level, right? It says, and with him was Aholiab, son of Ahisamach of the tribe of Dan, an engraver. Let's get some of these words, man. Charash, craftsman, artisan, engraver, artificer, engraver, skillful to destroy warriors. All right. Yeah, man. Mason, skillful, and hell, so-called Latinos, they can work. They could do some work. I seen a Jake, so-called Mexican. He used to live. He moved in understairs. This was some years ago. He moved downstairs from us or whatever. And he came in. You know, this is his apartment. He comes in. This dude redoes the whole. Like, he bought the thing. He redid the whole apartment, the whole layout, everything. Took the floors up, everything, the tile, everything. You know, Mason type work. You just can't do that if you've never done that. Thing that has been is a thing which shall be. Ecclesiastes 1:9, right? Most High requires that which is past, and a cunning workman and an embroiderer in blue and in purple and in scarlet and fine linen. That's all you see these people wearing, man. Raquam means to variegate, mix colors. Worker in colors, to be skillfully wrought or woven. This is skillfully wrought and woven work, man. Look, they got the color of the father colors he loved of the tabernacle. That's scarlet. That's blue. Explain that, man. Explain this. These are Israelites. Period, man. These are Israelites, man. Latinos prove they're Israelites. They prove it, man. They prove it. It's a locking. Look at this, man. Scarlet on the head, purple. Man, these people miss Israel in the spirit. They don't know who they are. They discontinued. They've been discontinued, man. These are Israelites, man. Jakes, so-called Latinos. Got them in different shades, colors, and sizes, man. It's like Judah. It's like the rest of the tribes. All right, moving on. So that's that, man. So, you know, I can about close out with that, you know. But I'm gonna bring all these scriptures out real quick. Jeremiah 51:19. A portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things. See, Jake did all these things first. So, guess what? According to that, since we talking that, right? Jacob is the former of all things. He did all these things first, man. All these people got this embroidery stuff, and you can go buy these different type of garments at these booths, these heathens selling. A lot of this stuff, you know, this Jake selling, so-called Latinos. You know what I'm saying? But you got a lot of heathens cleaving, you know, trying to copy our work, our thought, our abilities, our gifts, our manner of work he put in us. Ecclesiastes 1:9. The thing that hath been is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there was no new thing under the sun. See? Is there anything whereof it may be say, see, this is new. It had been already of old time, which was before us. See that, man? These people come out, they leave earth, and then you're going to come back and just do the same thing. You're going to be who you are. See that? These the Israelites, man. Generation after generation, man. The understanding is in their spirit, man. They can't help it. These are people that was in Israel. These are Shemites, man. You niggas is retarded, man. Damn dummies. Damn dummies, man. It's a damn dummies, man. So Jacob is the form of all things, man. Not Ishmael, not Elam, not so-called Muslims, not so-called Chinese, not so-called Asiatic, black man, not none of that. Jacob is the form of all things. A portion of Jacob is not like them. So you can't mimic this, man. Only Jacob can do this. It says, for he is the former of all things. So this is an Israelite custom to be skillful in embroidery, right, like this, needlework, variety and patterns and colors, you know what I'm saying, to deal with the materials, you know what I'm saying. It says, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. Who is the his? That's talking about the Most High, the Father, the creator of heaven and earth, being Yahweh, the Lord, right? Translate, that's Yahweh. Yahweh of hosts is his name. See? It's his name. Now, let's keep going. Deuteronomy 22, because we're gonna try to keep this short. Abaratazah, and just get through with this thing. Deuteronomy 22 and 12. Thou shalt make thee fringes upon the four quarters of thy vesture, wherewith thou coverest thyself. Okay, let's get that. Fringes upon the four corners of thy vesture. What's that? What's that? Explain. Lock it. See? But it gets better. Make thee fringes upon the four corners of thy vesture. What is this, man? What is going on here? What is going on here? What's that around her neck? Those are Tazayazah. however you would like to pronounce it, right? Tassels, twisted threads. Explain this, somebody. In the Strong's definition, it says in the sense of twisting thread, that is tassel or festoon, fringe, wreath. Explain it. That's a whole tassel. Jake know what it is. If you talking about he finna walk the stage, ain't that what that be on the end of the hat, Jake? A tassel. That's what a tassel look like. She got a whole tassel around her neck, and it's two of them. Explain. Like it's a chain. How these people got all these ancient like customs, man? I'm not understanding this, man. Real royal, beautiful people, man. Melanated people. You damn dummies. No damn sense, man. Look. What's that? She got tassels hanging off her purse, man. Her bag. Her messenger bag. Niggas, it's simple, man. This the Northern Kingdom, man. So those cuts, man. That's a cut. You finished. Man got big. Let's keep going, man. Got a better one. Right? Numbers 15. This time speeding. Numbers 15 and 38. I don't want to make this long. Numbers 15 and 38. Speak unto the children of Israel and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments. Then the scriptures tell us Jacob is the form of all things. So this whole fringe game, these so-called white women walk around with ponchos on and fringes on the end on their outer garments. That's Jacob started that, and they're not Jacob. They're Esau. They're the Edomites. But you got another set of people that's wearing ponchos, and they're called so-called Mexicans, and that don't go back to anybody, right? You've been lied to, just like so-called white people. That don't go back to nobody. They lying about who they are, because they're Esau, and so-called Mexicans, Latinos, Negroes, and Native Americans are Jacob, the Israelites, man. Numbers 15 and 38. Speak unto the children of Israel, not Mexicans, not Latinos, not Negroes, not Native Americans. Israel. But we talking about Latinos, right? Speak unto the children of Israel, not Latinos, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they may put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue. Right? And it shall be unto you for a fringe that ye may look upon it and remember all the commandments of Yahweh, and do them, that ye may seek not after your own heart and your eyes after which ye used to go a whoring, you know. So these people don't necessarily remember that, but they got these fringes on, heavy. And what these men are wearing, that's also Israelite custom. That's a poncho with the embroidery on. This is what the Israelites was wearing, man. This is an idea of what the Israelites was dressing like. Still being cut up. So the Israelites was bid to put fringes on the end of their garments, man. Big dumb fringes. Big dumb fringes, Jake. Look. Satan mad. Alright, let's see. Yeah, it's coming up. Father got it coming out, man. It's time. Look at these fringes, man. At the end of his garment. They doing it with their own customs. That's why the hell y'all in the situation y'all in. Where's the river of the blue? It just became a custom thing. They forgot what it was for. You know, they fell away from it. But these people are the Israelites, man. Only people you know wearing with fringes in their customs, just some random reason how. But it says Jacob is the former of all things. The only people you always knew to always wear fringes is so-called Native American Indians and Latino people, man. Latino people with the ponchos and so-called Indians just fringes on everything. I mean, just on everything. Judging the matter spiritually. And it's that simple to do. Let's go. We can get the rest of these. Cause they ain't gonna be no more questions asked about at least being able to regard this. You know? And it reads Genesis 41:52. It says, "In the name of the second called he Ephraim," so-called Latino people, right, of the northern kingdom, for the power or God, which is what God means, or for God hath caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. So all these things we bringing out is just ways to simply show you that, hey, Israelite, the Latino people proved themselves to be, you know, you got girdles. They proved themselves to be Jacob, you know. Ephraim is known to be fruitful. That's to have a lot of kids. So-called Latino people have a lot of kids, man. Strong's definition says double fruit. See? Sometimes and then Ephraim, another reason why we got Ephraim, we got this scripture, because this is talking about all the northern kingdom. Ephraim represents the northern kingdom, right? Head of the northern kingdom, and Judah represents the southern kingdom. So after a certain point in the scriptures, when it says Judah, it's talking about Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, the southern kingdom, right? It's talking about the southern kingdom when it mentions Judah. And when you see Ephraim, after a certain point, it's talking in the scriptures, you know, it's talking about the northern kingdom being the rest of the other tribes. And when you click Ephraim, it tells you that. See, it says sometimes use number 4. Sometimes use name for the northern kingdom. So all Latino people have children out the works. And of the second call he Ephraim. That's what they all have in common. For God hath caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. So with us being as poor and as impoverished as possible, we keep a lot of kids, man. So-called Latino people have a lot of kids, man. They multiply on a heavy level. You know? Look at all these kids in the back, man. You know? You can't make this up, man. Look at those are all children. Pack. That's what they do. That's what the Northern Kingdom do. All Israelites do that. That's just of our customs, man. You know? Kids. Have a lot of kids. You know? Whole lot of them. You know? So the families be so big. And that's why Esau hates us. Because he has a low birth rate. That's a ability, that's a power Jake has. That's how you know we're the true people of the earth, because the earth brings forth, it's fruitful. We're likened unto that. Right? We're 100% likened unto that. Now, I'm just gonna run through these scriptures. This time flying. It says Genesis. We're gonna get Genesis 48. I got a few more scriptures. You know, there's so many scriptures just to show you. You know what I'm saying? Genesis 48:20. Just to show you, prove this, man. Latino people prove that they Ephraim, man. It says Genesis 48:20, and he blessed me, it's like, and he blessed them that day, saying, "In thee shall Israel bless," saying, "God made thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh, and set Ephraim before Manasseh." You know, and that's just go. And he said them that day, saying, "In thee shall Israel bless," saying, "God make thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh." And he said Ephraim before Manasseh. You know? Manasseh was the elder son as Manasseh. Manasseh was the elder son of Joseph, Salakia. But Ephraim gonna end up getting blessed over Manasseh because he was gonna go on to be a bigger nation. You know what I'm saying? What he was gonna represent. So that's ultimately why he took the lead position as the head over the northern kingdom. You know, so everybody ultimately is represented in Ephraim. You know. He chose to bless. We get 19 when we started 18, and Joseph said unto his father, "Not so, my father, for this is my firstborn. Put thy hand upon his head." And his father, being Jacob, Israel, his father refused and said, "I know it, my son, I know it. He shall also become a people, and he shall be great." But truly his younger brother, Ephraim being Manasseh's younger brother, shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. You know? So, hey man, our people they're fruitful, they multiply. They have a lot of kids, man. Latino people have a lot of kids. Another cut proving that they're Ephraim. Latino people represent the northern. Most of the northern kingdom tribes are Latino people. You know, and you got a couple being so-called Native American Indians. You know, specific title being Gad and Reuben being the Seminole Indians. It says Psalms 108:8. Gilead is my Manasseh is my Ephraim also is the strength of my head. See, that's why Ephraim, he represents the northern kingdom, so we're just getting this for that. And Judah is my lawgiver. So there you go, man. So it's talking about Judah, the southern kingdom, and the northern kingdom. You know. So let's keep going. Psalm 78:9. You know what I'm saying? Lord willing is edifying, man. That's lucky. It says the children of Ephraim being armed and carrying bows. It says the children of Ephraim being armed and carrying bows turned back in the day of battle. They kept not the covenant of God and refused to walk in his law, and forgot his works and his wonders that he showed them. So Ephraim, ultimately, you find that to be the case for all the northern kingdom, because Ephraim represents the northern kingdom. Now, at this particular time, was this actually talking about the whole northern kingdom? Yeah, you could say this because this is Psalms. You know what I'm saying? But David wrote this. So the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom then split into his son rule, which is Solomon. But eventually, this did go on to be represented in the rest of the northern kingdom. Besides Ephraim, the tribe specifically, that they all went on to not keep the covenant of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah and refused to walk in his law and forgot his works and his wonders that he showed them. So they end up keeping the customs, but they forgot what it was all for, And the Father just set it up like that because in the end times, it's gonna speak who his people are. You're gonna know about the Spirit, by spiritual situations, by what the scriptures are spiritual. So the only thing you're gonna be able to use to identify is spirituality. You know what I'm saying? Looking at these people's spirits and the spiritual situations they're in, they're forced to be in, and how they are in the spirit. It's that simple. Salakia. A few more scriptures to get. Sirach 47:21. And it reads, it says, so the kingdom was divided, and out of Ephraim ruled a rebellious kingdom. So there you go, man. There you go. And when you're going to read the rest of this, let's go ahead and read it, man. But the Lord will never leave off his mercy, neither shall any of his work. So this is what happened to the northern kingdom of Israel. They was rebellious, and the Father sent their ass way to the western hemisphere after punishing them in the Assyrian captivity, which is one of the number one ruling kingdoms and empires, that's taught in history, even in school. They just don't mention the Israelites being under their rulership, the children of God, because then they have to go too deep and have to cover up too much. So they just don't mention the Israelites in no history, right? Like we're the historical people. You get all the history because of the Israelites timeline. Everything is revolves around the Israelites. All the kingdoms revolved around the Israelites, right? Kingdoms were able to rule because of our downfall. How do you have the creator of earth who has a chosen people, right? And yet they're not mentioned, and you got all these kingdoms that's mentioned. That will have to tell you that, well, it's a reason, something his people wasn't doing. The people of the earth, the rulers of the earth was not doing, It says, but the Lord never will leave off his mercy, even though they were a rebellious kingdom. It says, neither shall any of his works perish, neither will he abolish the posterity of his elect, and the seed of him that loveth him, right, will he not take away. Wherefore he gave a remnant unto Jacob, and out of him a root unto David. Thus rested Solomon with his fathers, and of his seed he left behind Rehoboam. This is just a quick history check real quick. Even the foolishness of the people, and one that had no understanding, who turned away the people through his counsel. So Solomon's son was wicked as hell, and that's how you got the split that happened, right? After Solomon perished, well, he went back to the spirit world. It says there was also Jeroboam the son of Nebat. He was a Jew who ruled in the north, the southern kingdom. It says who caused Israel to sin and shewed Ephraim the way of sin. Salakia. Rehoboam was a Jew, and Jeroboam was a northern kingdom Israelite, and that's how it happened. It says in their sins, Jeroboam was a wicked king, man. We had two kings at that point. Once the kingdom split after Solomon, our people got into it. Rehoboam, he got to being on some wicked stuff, and everybody already knew that Judah was the head, so it was like, it was just some shicey stuff going on. Our people just family feud, man. It's crazy. It says, and their sins were multiplied exceedingly, that they were driven out of the land. So they ended up picking their own king, being Jeroboam, but he ended up going off so hard to where he caused Israel to sin and shoot Ephraim, meaning the whole northern kingdom, right? At that point. That's why they were called Ephraim at that point, right? Because Ephraim was the biggest, a lot of representation you would get out of Ephraim. So Ephraim was made the head. We went over that. And their sins were multiplied exceedingly, that they were driven out of the land. What land? Out of Israel. The northern kingdom was driven out of Israel. For they saw all wickedness till vengeance came upon them. So you just went so hard, northern kingdom, you so-called Latinos, to where your ass ended up on the whole other side of the earth. That's how you got here. You're from Israel. You're not from Mexico. You're not from Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, the Caribbean, however you want to pronounce it, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Cuba, South America. You're not from those places. You were sent here as a punishment because you couldn't dwell in the land no more. When so-called Jesus Christ came, who was actually Yahweh Shah, another one of our brethren, who's the Son of God. He was the Messiah. He came on a whole nother level, spiritual power. He was only he when he came to Israel, it was only your brethren left, so-called Negroes that were all left in your homeland, and they were dealing with the Lord in the homeland while you were over here. We were dealing with him, and we ended up going the hell off and delivered the Lord up, and that's how he got killed, because we was fucking wicked. But y'all was over here doing y'all thing already. Y'all was over here for thousands of years, pretty much. And we eventually, during the slave trade, made it over here. After Columbus came and found y'all and put a whooping on y'all. And they read this Apocrypha, which we're in, to find that you were over here. Because we were writing as we would go. This Bible is our history book, but it was written like a diary, right? They had our diary. Which makes sense because everybody had a chance to rule over us. So everybody had our business. It made perfect sense. Everybody had our business, our whereabouts, what we knew, how we were. Everybody had the blueprint to Jacob. And that's why everybody feeds off of us, because they know what makes us tick, because they didn't have us. Esau put us in chains and studied us, till this day. All of us, Southern Kingdom and Northern Kingdom. Anyway, Isaiah 7:17, the Lord shall bring thee upon thy people and upon thy father's house days that have not come, from the day that Ephraim departed from Judah, from the day that the Northern Kingdom, so-called Latinos and Indians, departed from so-called Negroes, Judah, Latinos and Native Indians being Ephraim, the Northern Kingdom of Israelite, due to the split, the family feud, departing from Judah, being Negroes, right? So-called Jamaicans and Haitians and, just black people, whatever. It says, even the king of Assyria. Because that's how you departed from Judah, because you were sent to serve slavery and under the Assyrian kingdom era, the Assyrian Empire era, when they were ruling over the earth, because we were just going the hell off, and that's what happened. And from that point, when it ended, when it was like, Father, okay, you come out of time out now. Y'all left and was sent to the north. Y'all sent over here to what people now know as the Americas. Because this is where the Father was going to set the ultimate judgment, when he was going to destroy the world one more time. Not by flood this time. Hosea 5:3. I know Ephraim and Israel is not hid from me. He know where you at. See? None of us in Israel no more anymore, but you been had left. Been. But he said, Hosea 5:3, I know Ephraim and Israel, showing you Ephraim is Israel, right? So because you also get an interchangeable word to represent the Northern Kingdom, you would get Israel. He said, I know Ephraim And Israel at the certain point in the scriptures will represent the northern kingdom, and Judah will still just represents the southern kingdom. I know Ephraim, or the Jews. I know Ephraim and Israel is not hid from me. For now, O Ephraim, thou committest whoredom, and Israel is defiled. So there you go, man. It says they will not frame their doings to turn to their God, to their power, for the spirit of whoredom is in the midst of them. You spiritually fornicate and get into all these things, Santa Maria and all this other crap. You know, Jesus, you know what I'm saying? And they have not known the Lord, you know. And the pride of Israel, those testify to his face. Therefore, and who do these things? You know, pray to a so-called white man, you're melanated. Blue-eyed white, he ain't even white, so-called red man, right? Blue-eyed, stringy, damn, dog hair, Edomite. Because you have thick, silky goat hair, and some of you have a lighter texture of woolly hair. You know what I'm saying? It just depends. You know, that thick, thick-ass hair, you know, silky, beautiful hair. It says, in the pride of Israel, don't testify, but you rather diet and all. You spiritually fornicate, man. You do all this crap, and just like Judah, you know, the Jews. In the pride of Israel, don't testify to his face, because you're prideful. Therefore shall Israel and Ephraim fall in their iniquity. That's why you're in the slums, you're in the streets off crack. You know, you being told to get out of America. You being blocked from the borders. You being kicked out of a land that you founded. You know, Judah also shall fall with them. We delivered up the Lord, so we can't talk. But this is what happens when you have a bunch of proud niggas. They're all, before this truth was given back to us, these are all niggas. You got a lot of us still niggas, a lot of Israelites still niggas. Hosea 9:3, they shall not dwell in the Lord's land, but Ephraim shall return to Egypt. See, the northern kingdom was not gonna dwell in the Lord's land. He was gonna return to Egypt. Egypt being a word for bondage, and they shall eat unclean things in Assyria. See, you was not going to dwell in Israel. So when Yahushua came, you wasn't even in Israel. Your ass had served captivity in Assyria, and the Lord sent you completely out of his sight. He didn't even want to see you no more. That's how hard y'all was going off, man. And you still going off to this day, calling your brother and so-called crazy Moreno, Loco Moreno, Exodus 20:2. I am the Lord thy God. This is the Most High talking to Israel, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt. That same word Egypt, out of the house of bondage. So that word Egypt means house of bondage. Let's go back, Hosea 9:3. And it says, this history, man. They, who's the they, shall not, that's prophecy, dwell, that means live, in the Lord's land, in Yahweh's land. What's the Lord's land? Israel, the land of Israel, right? Jerusalem. But Ephraim, meaning the northern kingdom, right? Israel, shall not return, Slakia, shall return to Egypt. So that's the they, Ephraim. What does Egypt mean? House of bondage. But Ephraim shall return to Egypt. You're going to return to bondage, slavery. Just like when we was serving, we was building those pyramids in Egypt. That's why when that's why you can find pyramids in Mexico. That's how you know it's a cut. Latino people are Jacob. They proved it, man. Ichira, Mexico. Look it up. Pyramids. Esau, the so-called white man, still can't find out how pyramids got over here. See that? It just said that the northern kingdom was going to return to Egypt. And then when you go to this real quick, Revelation 11:8, because that was talking about another Egypt, right? Egypt always mean after we came out of Egypt, you're going to go back into slavery, right? And guess what? Revelation 11:8, and their dead bodies, talking about Israel again, shall lie in the street of the great city. You go to California, all you see is Latino people sleep on the sidewalk off drugs, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, right? What goes on in what is California known for, aka Californication? LGBTQT headquarters, right? And Egypt, right? Uh, what is this? The great city, America, right? So America is Sodom and Egypt, right? With franchises dispersed, little small chain buildings, being in states. California is a small chain of Sodom and Egypt in the state, but overall Sodom and Egypt is represented in America, period, which is the daughter of Babylon. It says where also our Lord was crucified, because they said the so-called Jesus Christ, the so-called white man, is the Lord, when it's actually he's a so-called Negro, right, with woolly hair, melanated man with woolly hair. His name is Yahushai. So he was crucified. And his brethren, right, represents his body, and all they do is kill us. So he's crucified twice, So that's that spiritual Egypt right there, because what happened in the Americas, you Latino people was in slavery, and you're still in slavery. See that? Hosea 9:3, they shall not dwell in the Lord's land, but Ephraim shall return to Egypt, and they shall eat unclean things in Assyria. So when you got done with that captivity, you came over here, and the Father punished you again when he sent the white man over here in 1492 to wreck shop on you for all the crap you did in Israel, and came over here and was doing like he wasn't seeing you. He seen everything y'all was over here doing, 8 and 9, and still doing. Hosea 8:9, for they are gone up to Assyria as a wild ass alone by himself. See, because y'all only the northern kingdom went. The southern kingdom was the only people in Jerusalem. When you read about the Gospels, only the Jews, that's why I was always talking about Jews, only Negroes was in Israel then. Y'all, so-called Latino people and Indians were gone. You were over here. That's how, this is a history book, man. It says, if Ephraim had hired lovers. So you want to fornicate with everything else. You want to fornicate, man. Be intimate with everything else except the Father and your heritage, your truth, right? You don't want to be an Israelite. You want to be a damn Mexican, a Chicano. You want to be that. You want to be a Taino. You want to be all that. A Borica. What is it? Borica. It says, Hosea 10:6. It shall be also carried unto Assyria for a present to King Jared. Ephraim shall receive shame, and Israel shall be ashamed of his own counsel. So it happened, man. How many scriptures you got lined up, man? Hosea 11:3. I taught Ephraim also to go, taking them by their arms, but they knew not that I healed them. So what happened was he allowed you to heal up and get the hell away from Dodge when he sent you over here. He had you come over here safe and sound. Y'all was able to hold on to our customs that we were going to need, so this lesson can be brought out so we can see how we dress. You got Jews wearing ponchos because they recognize in the scriptures, hell, these are garments. They got fringes on them and everything. Hey, you so-called Latino people, Israelites. See that? He healed you. Hosea 11:3. I taught Ephraim also to go. Go where? To the western hemisphere after you left Israel. After you left Assyria. After you left the east, you came to the west, man. That's how people got to the Americas. That's how you were here before Columbus. Because you were the Israelites that came out of captivity, and the Father wanted you to get away from suffering for a while, so he sent you over here to set up, to usher in everything that was going to take place in the future. You played a big role in once the world ended, right? Because Esau was going to bring his wicked ass over here and all these heathens that ever did anything to us, and he was going to bring us over here to help finish up the physical shackle slavery that Esau finished up in like the 1950s, 30s, basically, right? Or the so-called 1800s. but we in mental slavery. Now, so you helped set all that up. And that was him healing you, giving you a break. And he also gave you a break too when he brought us over here. When you go look onto the history, they said they put the Negroes in the field because they seen we was more built which makes sense because we the head tribe. So the Father gave everybody certain measures, man. You know, but every so-called Mexican ain't little. You got big ass so-called Mexicans, which are the tribe Issachar. You know, as well as the rest of the Northern Kingdom. 11:13 Isaiah. It says, and it's a Slakia. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart. And the average, so you were envious of Judah, the head tribe. You know, that's why we don't get along like that. You know, and Judah wasn't even the oldest son; he's the fourth born. You know, and Ephraim is like the second to the youngest. You know, or the third to the youngest, I believe. And the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off, because you're envious to the point you're adversary of Judah, so-called Negroes, your own brethren, shall be cut off. So that's prophecy. You're gonna stop envying, and you Latinos gonna stop envying Negroes. Any of you that do, because all of you probably don't. It's a balance, you know, because that will make you an adversary of your own people, being Judah. And it's written that the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off, right? So-called Negroes. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim, because you know Judah cocky. Judah be on some cocky shit, you know. You gotta stop that, you know. But it's not. It's a lot of times it's not even. Not as much. I don't want to even say that. Esau, he cocky. Jake just ignorant. Judah just ignorant. Judah is ignorant. That's how you vex Judah. That's how Judah really vexes you, because he's ignorant. They're ignorant. We're ignorant. It says Isaiah, but you are too. Isaiah 8:28-1, because we're the same people. Woe to the crown of pride, to the drunkards of Ephraim. So this is another way that Latinos prove that they're Jacob. Because you drink Coronas, Miller Lights, Ice House. All you do is drink. Woe to the crown of pride. You're the crown of pride. You're number one. Latino people so prideful, bro. It says to the drunkards of Ephraim. That's all the Northern Kingdom. Northern Kingdom Israelite. Northern Kingdom. Native American Indians drink their tail off too. Drink their behinds off. They'll drink you under the table, man. Under a rug. It says, whose glorious beauty is a fading flower. Beautiful people. It says, which are on the head of the fat valleys of them that are overcome with wine. It says, which are on the head of the fat valleys. That's that fat. That's that unclean mind, that excess crap. You know, that crap, right? The head of the fat valleys. The valleys being people that's on a lower state of them that are overcome with wine. All these philosophies, man. You're overcome, you're drunk off of it. There are different ways of life. We Chicano pride and drunk as hell. Cinco de Mayo, you know what I'm saying? Puerto Rican Day, Puerto Rican Parade. All this crap, man. All this crap, man. All this crap. The Father's pissed at you. So you people proved you are definitely Israelites by the scriptures. And that's all that matter. Not no damn nigga opinion. Israelite that want to still be a nigga that he learned how to be from Esau. Let me get this and hurry up. And Jeremiah 7:15, and I will cast you out of my sight, as I have cast all your brethren, even the whole seed of Ephraim. So that was the Most High talking to Judah at this point. He said, I'm going to cast you out of my sight like I did your brothers, meaning the Northern Kingdom. You know how many tribes that is? That was everybody you found in the Western Hemisphere. So-called Christopher Columbus, whose name is Cristobal Colon, right? The whole seed of Ephraim. The Father is pissed off, man. He said, Verse 16. Therefore pray not for this people, neither lift up cry for nor prayer for them, neither make intercession to me, for I will not hear thee. Seest thou not what they do in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem? Man. Yeah, we effed up, y'all. So it's by mercy and grace the Father, gonna bring us out of this thing, but a lot more people finna die. So before it happens, he just wants this to be known that who all his children are. Hosea, and you Latino people are of his children. You're the Northern Kingdom, man. Everybody a respective tribes. We got Israelites scattered across the earth, so it's not just in the Americas either. Negroes all over the earth, so-called Latinos all over the earth, Indians, etc. Right? Israelites are all over the earth, looking like different people now. Hosea 5:5, and the pride of Israel doth testify to his face. Therefore, okay, we already got that. Salakia. Let's get 8 and 11. It says, Hosea 8 and 11, because Ephraim had made many altars to sin, altars shall be unto him to sin. You go look at videos watching Latinos and their so-called, their zeal going off, but not according to knowledge. They got altars and shrines set up to Caesar Borgia, a so-called white man, and Mother Mary right in front of their bed that they go pray to that has a candle sitting in it. That's all you do. You prove you're Jacob, man. Because Hosea 8 and 11, because Ephraim had made many altars to sin, altars shall be unto him to sin. So he gonna keep that spirit on you so you can keep going off, so he keep fucking you up, Hosea 6 and 10, I have seen a horrible thing in the house of Israel. There is whoredom of Ephraim. Israel is defiled. We got that already, I believe. 9 and 13. Hosea 9 and 13. Ephraim, as I saw Tyrus, is planted in a pleasant place. Right? But Ephraim shall bring forth his children to the murderer. Meaning that pleasant place is the Americas, man. Right? And you bring your children, you hand your children off. Let me get this last scripture. Hosea 12 and 8. It says, and Ephraim said, yet I am become rich. I have found me out substance. And all my labors, they shall find none iniquity in me that were sin. So you found this land, you got hella proud Latino people. They think they winning because they can go back to Mexico. They not even pronouncing right, Or you done found the Americas. You done made it to the so-called American dream. And you give your children to the murderer. You send them to his colleges. Make them learn what they want him to learn. So you can have a better. They can have a quote unquote better life. You a goddamn set. You a coon. You a coon. Like. So as I was saying, you a coon. And that's why the Father gonna destroy you. He's gonna kill you and make you right. So I just want to say a couple last things really quick. If you notice the hair wraps, these last things I'm gonna use to show that Latinos prove, so-called Latinos prove that they're Jacob. And look at all these women who have their hair covered like custom like they have it's a real like commandment spirit, that you can see on this. It's not nothing fake. It's not a cleaving spirit like heathens cleaving to customs that's not theirs. This is something they've been doing and just understand, and that's also in the scriptures. Let's get it, bro. Salakia. Couple more scriptures. 1 Corinthians 11. We start at 1. It says, "Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Hamashiach." Right. Open this one real quick. It says 1 Corinthians 11:1, "Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Hamashiach." It says, "Now I praise you, brethren." This is Paul talking, and his brethren are Israelites, right? I'll tell you that in Romans in the 9th chapter. It says that ye remember me in all things and keep the ordinances as I delivered them unto you, because they was given from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah to the disciples who later on became apostles, and Paul, he became one of them. And it's certain ordinances he was given. And it tell you right here the word for that word. The original word for that word ordinances is paradosis, and it says a giving over which is done by word of mouth or writing, because we're going to get ones that basically just fit. It says tradition by instruction, narrative, precept, and a precept is a commandment, in one sense, right? And going into previous, I believe, and sept being taken. So something that was previous, that was taken from something previous, and that was the law being laid down about these head wraps and our garments and etc. The attire of Israelites, a style of dress for men and women, right? For the men and women of Israel. It says, that's pretty much it on that. So ordinance is a tradition, specifically the so-called Jewish traditionary law. Traditionary law, right? Now, let's keep going. It says, "But I will have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Hamashiach is Yahweh. Every man praying or prophesied having his head covered dishonoreth his head, but every woman that prayeth or prophesied with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head." So there you go. That's a custom of Israelites. Our Israelite women having their heads covered, because it says 1 Corinthians 11:5, "But every woman that prayeth," so when women pray or prophesy, when they speak the words of the Most High, they talk about the scriptures, they go into the scriptures. It says, "Where her head, when they do these things with their head being uncovered, it dishonoreth her head, being her husband." So that would explain why. A reason why some of these women don't have their head covered, because they might not have a husband, because they're really doing this in you can see the spirit on this, like a commandment. They're keeping a commandment almost, or some tradition that was passed down. They don't remember it to be a commandment of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, because that would make everything that was said to happen to the Israelites not true. They was just able to hold on to certain customs, but ultimately still forget who they were and go into slavery just like the rest of us. But the Father left each tribe with different things that would help bring the remembrance back, that you just wasn't going to be able to cut off from us, even due to certain situations each tribe may have been put in, right? Each kingdom may have been, the Israelites would, in an overall sense, would have been put in. And the Latinos, they kept the customs, they kept some of the customs. You can see it, man. Where did Latino people get this from? So-called Latino people, all right? So that's that. Look at this, man. You can't make this up. Their heads are covered. You know, even the little girl hair is covered. Where do these Latino people get this from? Where do they get this from? And it's like they're having church right now. And church goes into that word ecclesia, which is the gathering of the Israelites. So only Israelites can have church. It's not a building. And notice they're not in a building. Let's get that word. See? Church, you click it. It's the Greek word, number 1577. Ecclesia. It says a gathering of citizens called out from their homes into some public place, an assembly. Let's jump down to where we notice to truly be at. B, the assembly of the Israelites, because they was the only people that was known of the Most High, you know. So we're the ones that we're the only people that truly had this understanding, man. You know, and that's pretty much it on that. You know, so the thing that has been is the thing which shall be. It says, he sheweth his word, Psalms 147:19. Who is the he? Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. Yahweh is the Most High, right? In the name of his son, Yahweh Shah. But it says, he sheweth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. So anybody outside of that's not Jacob, they don't know the Father's statutes, judgments, or anything. So how would these people fit everything scripturally that we just brought out, man? How are these women heads covered? You know, and then this the last thing I'm gonna bring out real quick. He says no one of the earth knows these things. Nobody else. He hasn't showed his ways of what he wants to anybody else. You know. It says Amos 3:1. Even further, hear this word that the Lord, that Yahweh, have spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which so the whole family, not the Rodriguez, the Sanchez, the Johnsons, the Smiths, the Enrique, not the Ortegas, not no damn Gonzalez, Euclid, none of that. You know what I'm saying? Hear the word, Amos 3:1. Hear this word that the Lord, that Yahweh has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family. So we're not splitting ones. There's no Ortegas and Johnsons and Smiths and Diegos and Rodriguez and Cruz and Igrape and none of that crap. It's Israel, man. Yasha Allah, which I brought up from the land of Egypt, right? Saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. So one more time, Amos 3:1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. Because nobody else knows what's going on. They don't know what's expected. You know? So that's how these people were able to carry themselves, so-called Latinos people, ironically carrying themselves in God-like fashion. You know? Last scripture. Salaki, let me get this. I might have to search it. Salaki. Salak. Last scripture. Because if you notice this, Deuteronomy 22 and 5. If you notice this, all these women wear dresses. Deuteronomy 22 and 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man. What do all these women got on? Something that doesn't pertain to a man. That's a damn dress. That's a dress, man. All these women, no matter age, shape, size. Look at this, man. They're wearing something that don't pertain to a man. That's how you get the dress. So where these people come from lining completely, look, he has pants on. This pertain to him. She has that on. She's wearing something that don't pertain to him. He's wearing something that don't pertain to her. The woman shall not wear that which pertain unto a man. Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do such are abomination unto the Lord thy God, unto Yahweh your power. And who's Yahweh the only power for and of the children of Israel. So explain this, man. She's not wearing something that pertains to a man, and this man is not wearing, which the earth really don't have a problem with. You don't really see men of any nation wear dresses, but you do see many women of all nations wear pants, something that pertains to a man. So it's rare to see a woman in a dress, a woman wearing something that don't pertain to a man. That's those head wraps. Their heads are covered, and it's only when they pray or prophesy, so it don't have to be all the time. How many heathens you see pray or prophesy with their hair covered, And another thing, these people look just like so-called Negroes, man. You people are you niggas bugged out, man. Full of lips than some of you niggas, so-called niggas, noses, skin brown, same fake structure, everything. So you can find so-called Negroes that look like this guy. You know who he looks like? He look like Tata, Jay-Z's right hand man. That's who he looks like, a so-called Negro. That look like Tata. Little short bald guy. Look him up. Tata. Think you could put T.Y. He'll come straight up. Looks just like him. Look at her hair. That's just what's black. That's a so-called black woman right here. These is different bywords that was put on us. Look at these people, man. But they all have on dresses, and they wrap their hair when it looks like they're in ceremony fashion. They wear the samads around their head. Those are headbands. The Hebrew word for headbands, samads. Salaki, not samad, synops. See that? I just want to get everything in here because it's needed. See? And the scriptures tell you that. Let's get this one last scripture. I know I said this was going to be it, but hey, when the spirit cooking, it's cooking. Look at these people, man. These noses, these lips, these eyes, the shapes, the skin complexions. They so-called Negroes. You don't look no different. You look no different. You are all the same people, man. You're the same people. Big, thick noses. Not everybody gotta have a thick nose or big, full lips, or, But you're gonna know Israelite. You're gonna know a so-called black person when you see him. We all do the same things into the same things. And it tell you right here, Jeremiah 12:9. Mine heritage, who's the mine? The Most High speakers, and the mine and his heritage is Israel. It says, he said, mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. Let's get that word for speckled. Colored, once again, variegated. The Most High deals with complexions, colors. It says speckled, dyed in stripes. That is, so overall, when you look at the Most High's people, you will see them in like stripes, meaning different complexions, different variety. And the word right here is tazabawa, tazabawai, yeah, tazabawai, and it means colored, variegated, speckled. See, dyed in stripes. That is hyena speckled. It says, mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the fields. Come to devour. You know, so he said, mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. See that? So that you can't make this up, man. Salakia, man. Satan. He's mad right now. So yeah, man, that's all I want to bring out, man. Salakia. That's all I want to bring out, man. You know? You find so-called Judite women that look like this. Explain. There's so-called Latino women. You know? Explain this, man. We come in many with so this is what the Most High deals with. Tabaza Y. Speckled. Some of you guys, grandmothers look like this, aunties, etc. You know, cousins. These noses, man. The hook, Shemitic nose. You got to study your people, man. Know the features. All Jakes got the same face structure, right? That solid round kind of, not round, but like diamond box. It's like, it's perfect, you know? Fine jawline. You know, some got fat faces, you know? But it's still overall, look at the Shemitic hook nose, man. See that? Just like you so-called Negroes. And the rest of the tribes. You know? They're like my auntie right there. See that? She like Big Meech, you know? Got so-called cousins that look like her. You know? These so-called Latino people. Look, man. Look at this. My nose like my nose. Look at that. Look at these people, man. Look at that. The speckled. Tazabawai, man. Just like the clothes, the pattern, that's how the Father likes it, man. He's an artiste, man. Don't you got taste? You know, you got some with, you know, a lighter texture of woolly hair. Super dark. Look at the nose. You so-called Latino people. You niggas is being carnal, man. Look at that. So all so-called Latinos. You so-called Mexicans, man. Explain this. All right? Yeah, man. So just wanted to bring this out. Her hair woolly. See that? She got a different type of look to her. And then another thing, notice the ribbon of blue. Ribbons. So it ain't on the dress, but it's on her hair. See that? That's spiritual. A ribbon of blue. Ribbons. They deal with ribbons. Just their whole culture, you know, when they're not Americanized, is very ancient. That's why the daughter of Babylon gotta go, because no one is being who they are. So-called Chinese man wearing Lakers jerseys and suits, and his hair swooped over, and he getting a taper, and all this other stuff. Like he Jake, Esau, and except like he Jake and Esau, you know. So yeah, man. Noses, man. Some of you Negroes don't got lips, you know. Some of you Negroes, you know,